This blended video combines AWS Skills Builder alongside the CISSP and CCSP exam materials, and demystifying cloud concepts, as well as providing a history lesson on how all this evolved. The origins of the cloud start at data centers, which have been around for years, but in this video, let's go back specifically to the year 2000. When there was no specific concept of the cloud, however, data centers were physical centers like this, which had loads and loads of racks of servers which would need maintenance from companies and businesses, who chose to rent such machines in order to host websites and applications online. And data centers could either be on-premise or third-party. Either way, if a business owns or rents a rack which has some computer server power, that business would be responsible for maintaining that server, e.g. the hardware, upgrading it, and managing the operating system. Not to mention all the associated apps. This used to require a lot of planning, money, and capacity management, often guessing the amount of capacity and server resource needed to meet the business needs and scalability of the application and website in question. Now, this was a problem faced by many businesses back then. And one of those businesses was Amazon, and this building here is actually the 2019 Amazon's Northern Virginia headquarters, known as HQ2, which you can Google. Now, obviously HQ2 wasn't built in the 2000s, but indulge me in this video as this building looks cool. Now, in the early founding days of AWS, around 2000s to the 2006, a little online retailer called Amazon faced significant challenges with scaling its infrastructure to accommodate rapid growth. Just imagine all those data center trips to try to cope with the fluctuations in the need and scalability of server hardware. And Amazon knew that its current technology stack and capability would not be able to continue to support its long-term growth and aspirations. And so Jeff Bezos, the Amazon head, decided to task his teams to find an innovative solution that would lead them into the future. And upon hearing this calling, one Amazon engineer who reinvented software engineering was Matt Round, who had a clear vision to reduce the burden on his teams and reduce the time they spent on IT and infrastructure problems. This led to one of the crucial shifts that happened where technology began leading rather than the company following. And this led Amazon to an amazing sweet spot, shifting Amazon more towards being a technology company rather than a business bolting on technology as many others were doing in those days. So let's see how this technology shift actually worked. Well, whilst Amazon was still relatively new and had a small user base, this setup was perfectly adequate. That is, having a small number of beastly web servers hosting the website and also coping with the website demand. After all, money was no object for Jeff Bezos, who was a visionary in this space and wanted to achieve greatness. And so, Amazon built the biggest, beefiest servers for those days, increasing the RAM, the CPUs, and various databases and hard drives. However, Amazon would soon realize this hardware would come with limitations once it reached the maximum capacity of computing technology. And this is the problem Amazon eventually faced. They had already purchased the fastest computers, which at the time behind them had a couple of massive databases that were probably the largest operational databases in the world at that time. However, even these databases and servers were not enough to keep up with Amazon's rapid online growth. It reached a point where these beastly front-end servers and back-end servers could not access data fast enough. And this became a hardware limitation, and so began a creative problem-solving and brainstorming session at Amazon, moving away from hardware-related solutions to more software innovation. This innovation came from classifying these servers in the current diagram as front-end servers. And these beastly front-end servers could no longer keep up with data processing demands. And so Matt was toying around with different ideas and solutions focused in machine computational work. And a novel idea for the time was being trialed. The idea of putting some of this data on another machine across the network rather than these four beastly machines that did all the original processing. Ultimately, Matt was skeptical about putting data on another machine. After all, based on the OSI Open Systems Interconnection model and the encapsulation decapsulation processes explained in a previous technical video, which I have linked now on top of your screen, Matt thought, how can it be plausible to go to another computer and get something, aka data, from its memory, and then go back to your memory down to your disk and bring it back, and the whole process that goes with that? Surely secondary storage on the same machine is much faster, right? Well, Matt would soon be proved wrong after his first test, where the performance was much better than he anticipated. It really looked like this concept might just work. And so Matt got a small team together and built what was called the Ikiros Service Framework, which was named after the apparent widest point of the Amazon River, which flows through many different channels. You can think of all these backend servers or data points as the Ikiros server points. And contrastingly, the narrowest point of the Amazon River was known as Obidos, which you can think of as the front end servers. And now we have visualized the analogy of the Amazon River with its narrow and widest points. Matt and his team decided not just to build a single remote service, but rather build a framework where front end services would take some information and put it on the secondary machines, aka the back end servers, and pull data as and when needed. AKA each Ikiros River channel stream is a data point that can be pulled from one of the front end servers. And this remote services concept quickly grew, eventually growing from data points to RAM to CPU, aka compute, to databases, and virtually everything as a remote service available on demand to the front end servers. And so, the early days of the AWS cloud was formed where everything was available as a service. For example, the RAM, the data, the hardware, the databases, the CPU compute power, etc., etc. In other words, lots of different machines in lots of different places doing lots of different things in parallel. Now, this gave Amazon a distinct technology advantage. You see, Amazon was able to access data instantly across a range of different scenarios, creating things such as recommendation lists, last purchases, and things like this was previously impossible without all this server parallel computing in the backend. In other words, Amazon had created a specialized database for its time that pushed data to front end machines instantaneously and did various computing and brain related activity that was great for users. Almost AI, but not AI. This was just really clever and fast computing with the use through APIs, which we'll explain in a moment. So, Amazon had seemingly solved the data problem of having lots of data sets in various data formats accessible over a range of parallel computing servers. The next issue was scale. At this stage, Amazon were limited by the number of computers they could rack, how much they cost, how much memory you could put into them, and how you could connect from one network to another. This was all the back-end specialized database server stuff. Jeff Bezos was very interested in this growing idea and decided to throw more money at it at a time when nobody else did. In fact, Bezos wanted to expand the concept and see if technology and teams were able to execute independently of one another using the back-end technology to avoid bottlenecks in various company processes and backlogs. And so all this back-end compute power turned into software APIs which could be called in a moment by any server to receive any service. Suddenly, Amazon was able to compute resources, data, hardware, software, and anything you can think of in a moment's notice, and this was the early formation of the AWS cloud. The idea of having a collation of secondary machines or servers which serve an initial machine, such as the front end servers or users with resources, data, and any compute power you can think of. To coin an American phrase, Amazon had just hit the server hosting game out the park into the next dimension. Knowing this, Amazon thought, well, why not rent some of this back end compute power when they weren't using it, for example, outside of working hours? And thought, why not make some money of this and sell it to the general public and make it worldwide? After all this spare capacity, if available, if it's good enough for Amazon, will be more than good enough for the world, given Amazon were cutting edge at the time. And so, Amazon neatly packaged and marketed their services. They called it Amazon EC2 and S3. And these were released in 2006 and made Amazon a lot and lots of money. In fact, these cloud services, which have obviously evolved today, still make Amazon a lot and lot of money. In fact, you can Google, it's somewhere over 50% of Amazon's annual turnover just from the cloud alone. Now that was a simplified history lesson on the origins of the Amazon AWS cloud. Now, if you would like to see more videos like this or a part 2 as we go into the later years and further cloud services, and expand further on the Amazon S3 Simple Storage Service and the Amazon EC2 Elastic Compute Cloud. Please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel to help support its growth, and please leave a comment on any cloud services or concepts you would like to see in cartoonized format. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you would like to see more content like this, it would be super fantastic if you could leave a like and subscribe to help support this channel's growth.